It's finally here. We're going to unbox the brand new nami Agile Security System, and I couldn't be more excited to do this and take you along with me. This is Darren with Save the Panel, and this is not going to be one of those quick, here's the box, here's the app, thanks for watching kind of videos. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to take you through every step of this journey with me, right here in my own home, from purchasing the unit to activation, installation, configuration, and everyday use. You're going to see all of it, and the wins and if any head scratchers we may encounter along the way. And this is just the first video in a series. So settle in, pour yourself a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and we're going to figure out all of this together and see whether this system is really as exciting as I think it's going to be. So let's go. Before we get into it, a quick and important note: a big thank you to Surety for providing this system to us for review and evaluation free of charge. We really appreciate it. That said, just to be upfront, we're not being paid for this, and no one at nami, Surety, or Alarm.com controls what we say. The opinions here are our own. We are also learning as we go, so if we get something wrong, we'll correct it as a follow-up. Links to the product are in the description. If it turns out to be right for you, using those links helps support the channel. No pressure, but it helps us keep these reviews coming. All right, let's get into it. So the heart of the system here is the alarm pod, which I am excited to just take out of the box for a second and look at this this cool little guy. But before we get too far into things, just by way of an introduction, what we have here, we have the Alarm 15 kit, which is the base product that you'll see for about $129, I believe it is. We've also got the Aware 10 kit, which is an additional, I believe, $89. I'll put the correct pricing here on the screen. But I have both of these from Surety. The system will work with just the base, but because my home is a little larger, I wanted some additional plugs. So what in the world is this nami Agile security system? Why is this different, and why are we doing a video about it? Is this just another Simply Safe or a Ring? No, it's not. So let's break it down. Most systems detect motion in one way. They have a PIR motion sensor, which is a passive infrared motion sensor. And actually there's one here too as part of this kit. And this is mounted maybe in a corner. It watches a little piece of the room. When something comes by that's warm, it detects it and tells the alarm system. Well, nami keeps this sensor, but it adds something on top of it, which is called Wi-Fi sensing. And Wi-Fi sensing is the cool part. The Wi-Fi that you already have in your home, most likely, is invisible radio waves. And when someone moves through a room, they disrupt those waves, and nami reads that disruption as motion with no extra sensor required. That gives you whole home ambient awareness, picking up movement the corner sensor might never see. nami calls this fusion sensing. The pinpoint motion sensor, the PIR sensor, for your key entry points, plus Wi-Fi sensing that fills in everywhere else. The two technologies can kind of work together to back each other up for better coverage and fewer false alarms. So it's a combination of blanket sensing from Wi-Fi and point sensing from individual motion sensors, also blended with the knowledge from things like door sensors as well. So who is this technology really for, and this particular system for? Well, nami and Alarm.com position it as an inexpensive but highly effective system that's truly plug and play. Minimal technical skills are required, no drilling, no wiring, nothing permanent. And on paper, that would make it a very strong fit for those that rent or live in an apartment or doesn't want to put a hole in the wall or go through anything too expensive or elaborate. I mean, that's the pitch anyway, right? We're here to find out whether or not that's actually true and has the system really work and hold up in the real world. But the goal, and it even says on the box somewhere, that you could install this in about 15 minutes. And we'll see. I'm going to take longer than 15 so I can explain it as I go and learn it as I go. But The other thing to keep in mind is this nami system with the Wi-Fi sensing, as we just talked about, that is really the base system. On top of this, or should I say behind it, is the alarm.com ecosystem of cameras, automation devices, and allows you to see everything on a single pane of glass in the alarm.com app and website, which is great. So it takes the functionality of these devices and greatly extends them. I'll also say one thing. This particular system that we have here is the first product out. It does not have automation in terms of Z-Wave built in. And what I've been told is that Alarm.com may release a little add-on product to add Z-Wave to these devices. And they may also come out with another version of this, the nami Pro, which would have Z-Wave built in as well. That's just what I've been told so far. I haven't really, seen anything definitive there in terms of timeline, but there is a lot more to come here with these products. So let's start at the very beginning. How do you get the nami security system? The way to do that is to go to suretyhome.com, and on the home page, you would select that you want a new surety system. And then once you click that, you'll see that there are two options. One is the Agile, the nami Agile system, and the other is an IQ security system. And you can see, as we said, this is plug and play, very inexpensive to start at just $129. So this is what you would select. So you can of course learn more. But you would click Build My nami System. And then it goes through what you need. So the base kit here is $129. You could add that to the cart. This is the Wear 10 expansion kit for $99, which we also have here. And then you can buy additional sensors a la carte as well, and add the Alarm.com AI cameras as well to your order. And as I said a minute ago, that alarm.com ecosystem is behind this. So you could add these to your cart as well. But you can also add them in the future. There's no reason to buy them all in the first day, but you absolutely could. And then you would add the alarm.com monitoring package. Now, one thing about alarm.com is these packages can include professional monitoring, or you can exclude it, but you do need a monthly subscription with alarm.com to utilize most of the alarm.com systems. I believe that is true also here for the nami system. If I find out differently, I will certainly let you know. But normally you would say included because it's just $5 a month for professional monitoring. And then you have a variety of packages here. This is the base alarm notifications for police, fire, and medical dispatch. But then you can add other things like smart locks, thermostats, and lights. This would be the Z-Wave devices and also other automation devices that are built into the alarm.com backend, such as some Wi-Fi thermostats and the like. There's actually a rich compatibility list there. But if you want to control your sensor plugs via the app, which are the ones that come with the nami system, you would need at least the Surety Home package. Then Surety Protect adds in cameras. So if you purchased a camera, you would need Protect. And if you want both home automation and cameras, in addition to everything else, you would want the Surety Complete package. Surety Complete, by the way, all of these packages, these are the same prices that if you have the IQ system, which is very interesting. So you get, again, that same alarm.com backend. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's pretend we're going to purchase this. We're going to add the nami system to our cart. Let's just say we're going to go inexpensive and get that and maybe one camera, and we're going to do the complete package. And now we should be good. And you can see down here, we have our cart ready. we're at $372 and 24 plus 5, so $29 per month for monitoring. And you would simply proceed to checkout. You can go economical as well. So let's remove the camera and let's do the base plan. And now you have for 19 a month and 129, grand total of $148 for the first purchase. You've got a very basic system for your apartment, say, and then later you can come back and add the cameras or whatever other features you may want to add in the future. So in my case, I already have the hardware. This was already purchased, but what I don't have yet is my professional monitoring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear out this cart, and I am just going to purchase the monitoring that I need for this. So I would like actually to see the sensor plugs work, and I would like to have a camera on so I can show you the full richness of this system. So I am going to select the complete plan, but I am not going to get professional monitoring, only because this is on the bench here and it's really a test in my home. I don't want to really dispatch the police. So I'm just going to go with this particular plan for the test that we're running. So let's proceed to checkout and fill in our details. I'm going to just pause the video while I do this. Okay, we are back. So I have completed my order, and I have a button here. It says activate my account, and here we go. So for those of you who have never activated an account with Surety before, this is what it looks like, really, regardless of whether you have a nami system or an IQ system or any other. So the first thing we need to do is a desired alarm.com login name. So let me create something for this. Okay, so I did STP nami, and it says here to put in the IMEI, but if you have a nami alarm pod instead, click here. Let's see. If your system is a nami, does not use and require an IMEI, click confirm to continue with that one. I'll say, yes, I have a nami pod. Okay, so let's fill in this detail. Okay, so I filled everything out, and it says to check my email, and I do indeed have an email here with a temporary password for me to log into alarm.com. So let's go ahead and log into our alarm.com account. Although there are instructions here on how to set up the nami system, so I'm going to open those in a new tab so we can refer to them in a minute. But I would like to get logged in, so let's log into our account and log in now. And that is indeed the login name that I picked out. Let's go ahead and set up a password. All right, let's set this up too. It also wants to set up two-factor authentication, so I'm going to do that as well. Okay, and then of course there is the subscription agreement. And then it prompts, do you want to set up a reminder notification to arm your system? Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Why not? Okay, so then you go into a welcome wizard here, which shows you all around the alarm.com ecosystem. So let's flip over to the instructions on how to set up the nami alarm system. It's here on the Surety support forum. I'll include a link to this in the description. So let's take a look. So it looks like we're going to need to have the alarm.com app installed on our phone, either iOS or Android, and connected to the same Wi-Fi network where you want the nami devices to connect, and Bluetooth turned on your phone, and then of course your alarm.com account credentials, which we just created. Well, let me tell you what, let me get my phone connected so you guys can see it, and let's give this a try. Okay, so here we are on my iPhone with the alarm.com. We're going to log into the customer app. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to do get started. Okay, push connections, location services. Yeah, we're going to turn all that on. Configure a geofence. Allow local network permission to connect to devices on your network. Yes. And continue to dashboard. Okay, so here we are. We are in the app. We're connected. Now let's make sure we are on the right Wi-Fi network. So bear with me. We want to be on this one where we want NAMI to be set up. Okay, so we are on the correct network. So now let's go back over here. So we're logged into the app. We're going to hit the add button and do add device. Here's add device. It says to click sensor, but actually I see NAMI here, not sensor. So maybe there's a little bit of a bug here in the directions, but we're gonna try NAMI. Get started. Here's the wizard. Okay. Okay. So we are doing the alarm 15. Devices that detect motion using Wi-Fi sensing, the pod and the plug, and accessories that support your system in other ways. Okay, we have all that. All devices will be added to the same area. Areas help you group devices placed in different rooms. At this point, I got a little confused, but after doing some research, realized that an area is literally like a floor of your home. So if you have a two-story home, you'll need at least two areas, but you can also define smaller areas on the same level if you'd like. The trick is that each area needs at least two sensing devices to operate, and at most four sensing devices. So I think this is a little bit of art and not so much science. Anyway, I decided to set this up just for the first floor of my home and just do this with the sensors that were in the base kit. Plan the device placement. Find two power sockets 10 to 30 feet apart. One of them must be within 30 feet of your Wi-Fi access point. Your door sensor, keypad, and PIR motion sensor must later be installed within 30 feet of any one of these sockets. Do not install or connect any devices to power yet. Okay, fair enough. So my plan here is I have a two-story house. I'm going to set this up on the first floor, basically put the pod device in the center of my first floor, and probably, well, no, I'm looking at this. I think I'm going to put it on the extreme one end of the first floor and the plug on the other, and maybe add additional plugs as we go. So that's my tentative plan. Hopefully it's correct. And then tip 1, secure entryways. Choose sockets far enough apart to create coverage across the main paths an intruder might take from doors to windows. All right, so it looks like they want to make a path between where people might travel. So that's pretty easy. On my particular home, I'm going to do it diagonally. So basically, if we use this diagram, I'm going to have one here and one here, and I have egress here and here primarily. So someone coming in would have to trip that. So, okay, tip 2, avoid metals. Avoid using sockets near electronic appliances or large metal objects as they interfere with Wi-Fi signals. Okay. Tip 3, clear obstructions. Avoid using sockets hidden in cabinets or directly behind dense objects as they may reduce signal range. Okay, that all makes sense. Set up Wi-Fi motion sensing first. Alarm pod and sense mode. All right, feel like we read this already. Unfortunately, I couldn't capture it on video, but I scanned the QR code with my phone's camera. So there is a power supply and a cord here. And there's a tab here. I assume this has a battery backup. I believe it does, and I bet you that's what that tab's for. Although I'm not sure I saw any directions to pull the tab, but we'll give it a try. Now you can't see it, but it did make a chirp, and there's a little blue pulsing light on the top. We'll just leave alarm pod. That should be good. Now it's going to connect to a Wi-Fi network. Okay, I hit OK, I believe. Oh, I already pulled out the plastic battery tab. Sorry, did not follow directions. All right, so it looks like it might walk us through doing the rest of these. Let's see. Now we have the sense plug. So at this point, it walks you through adding each of the additional devices. With this sense plug, though, I ran into a problem, which was twofold. One, it is a Bluetooth connection to the plug, so you can't walk away while you're adding it. I walked away and I messed the whole thing up. So don't be like me. Don't walk away with your iPhone from the plug or from the device while you're trying to add it. Okay, so you can see I finally got that added, Sense Plug Kitchen. So now it wants to do the rest. So next is the motion sensor. Oh, it's magnetic. Look at that. That is pretty nifty. So rotate to open the sensor. So use a coin or another tool to unscrew this battery cover. There's the battery, I guess. And then it says to pull out the plastic battery tab. Now, there's a couple of issues here. One is that it looks like there's two things on the side and one of them is broken off. So hopefully that doesn't become a problem. But more importantly, where is the plastic battery tab? Oh, you can feel it but not see it. Okay, there you go. Now it's out. I was able to get the battery cover back on even with that broken tab and get this scanned into the app and ready to go. And I gave it a name of Motion Sensor Office. Okay, place the device at least 5 feet above the floor. Motion detection is limited to 20 feet away within a 110-degree field of view. Avoid large furniture. Don't mount the device yet. All right, well, that's fine. I was able to get it installed via the screws instead of the double-sided tape with no problem. Next up, I'm not exactly sure which door sensor we should do. I think I might install this on the door we go in and out of the house most often, which is actually our door to the garage. So this thing focuses. There we go. So let's see what this thing looks like. Ooh. A door sensor here with tape. Oh, here we go. And there's a line there and a line there. I assume that's where they need to align. Okay, fair enough. So installing the door sensor was fairly uneventful. Same process, scanning the QR code, peeling off the double-sided tape, removing the battery strip so it's activated, and mounting it to the door. So it's worth noting here that on my way to doing the keypad, the Alarm.com app actually froze on me and I had to crash it and go back into the Alarm.com app. This was because I was taking so many breaks trying to film this video that I think everything timed out. So again, don't be like me. Don't do too many things at once while you're trying to add these devices. But no biggie. All I had to do was go into the app to add devices and just add the devices individually to get the key door sensor and the keypad to join. So my screenshots here may not look exactly like what you see when you run the original wizard adding the alarm kit. Okay, so let's take a look at this keypad and see what we have in here. All right, so this also has some strips on the back, gives you a few screws. Let's see what's in here. Oh, just 3, looks like AA batteries, or excuse me, AAA batteries. Pull out the battery tab, hit next, and of course we've got to scan the QR code. Okay, so I have the keypad now set up, and it prompted me to pick and set a PIN code, which I did. And now we're up to this screen. So at this point, we're at the screen to set up rules, notifications, and schedules. And this is classic alarm.com kind of stuff, which I don't want to go into too deep at this point, but What I think I'm going to do is set up a notification that is going to tell me when any of the detection methods detect something, just so I can do troubleshooting as part of this test. Automation rules and schedules are very handy in alarm.com, but a little bit outside the scope, and we're running long on this video, so we can cover that in an additional video. Okay, so at this point we are all set up, and you can see we have a button to arm the system. We can see the sensors, the Wi-Fi sensing on the first floor, the motion sensor in the office. The smart plug in the kitchen appears to be able to control it, turning it off and on. So I think we are all good to go at this point. Probably the next step is to do just a quick test. So since I had an issue and had to leave the installation wizard and install the last couple of modules manually, I didn't get the benefit of some of this automatic wizard goodness. So I apologize that I'm not able to show that. However, here in the directions, it tells you what they were. So step 7 would be to learn your security modes, which the app should walk you through. Unfortunately, we did not see that. But please read this article on Surety's site, which goes through these details. However, the step 8 is testing your system. There is a way to manually run the system test, which we will do here in 1 second, and that allows you to test the siren, the door sensor, motion detection, and make sure that all the components are actually working properly. And then after the test, there's directions here showing you what you should be able to see in the app, and also how to do some configurations in the alarm.com app under Security System. Touch the gear icon, and you can set things like your entry and exit delays. You can add additional pins to the system, adjust what triggers alarms, entry and exit delays, sensitivity, and more. So before we finish, I did want to show you the system test, which was hard to film, but I did a screen recording on my phone so you could get the idea. You just go into the ADC or alarm.com app, security system, you hit the little greater than sign, the gear icon, and choose system test. And then choose the area you want to test. I only have one called the first floor. And then click start test. So first things first is the alarm pod siren. You press that button and it plays the siren blare for a few seconds, which my wife said sounded like an alien landing in the house, which I thought was funny, but the siren did indeed work. Next up was the door sensor, which I put on the garage door, and as you open and close the door, the little icon should change. Now, when I do this test, and I've done it a few times now, that icon change is delayed anywhere from 2 to 4 seconds typically. And then you move on to the motion sensor, which I have in the office. Now I did have to, it was already triggered, so I did have to hide around the corner per the instructions for about 30 seconds until that cleared. But once I did, I was able to walk in the office, and as soon as I walked in, indeed the icon changed, so the motion sensor is working. And next up was the Wi-Fi sensing, which is just incredibly cool. So you get this little graph that constantly moves up and down, and I find it's delayed by a few seconds based on actual activity. So I'll ignore that pop-up, that's for my other system. But as we were perfectly still in the house, you can see the line, the graph goes down to the bottom, but as someone moves, then movement detection goes up in the air. And you can see right here, someone had walked across the center hall of the house, and at that peak, that person was in actually our pantry doing something, but as they stood still near the pantry, motion stopped, and then when they closed the pantry door and walked away, you can see the motion increase again. So, it definitely was registering as people walk throughout the first floor. What I want to do in the next video is map out all the corners of this first floor and see how far and wide that coverage goes. Thank you for joining me on this really long adventure, getting the nami system out of the box, figuring it out, and getting at least an initial deployment done. We did learn a few things, though, in this video. The first is don't try to record a YouTube video while setting this up. Certainly, this took far longer than it should have because of the gyrations I was trying to do to capture screenshots and video and the like. And I think the delay in all the various steps is what caused the ADC or alarm.com app to lock up on me. So I think that was a self-inflicted wound. The other lesson is that these devices, when they're being provisioned, connect to your iPhone or Android phone via Bluetooth first, so they can provision the wireless network in your home on the device. And as a result, you need to stay close. And again, while trying to shoot video, I was separating the device from my phone pretty far, running back and forth, which was causing my own problems. So please don't be swayed by that. It does make me think that perhaps I should redo the install and maybe redo a shorter video just to see if this really can be set up in the 15 minutes that's claimed. I bet you it is possible, but I would definitely need to try again and not be recording it at the time. System and sensor reactions are delayed by a few seconds. So I didn't show this a lot in the video, but on a little bit of testing that I've done since the install, if you do something like open a door or motions detected, it has a few second delay, maybe 3 seconds, which I suppose is to be expected. Arming the system with the keypad versus the pod starting to beep sometimes is very quick, maybe a second. Sometimes it's a few seconds later. Nothing egregious, but just something to make note of. And I also found that when I added the door sensor, that the door sensor was saying that the door was open the whole time, and I could not get it to register a close. I realized I just needed to wait. So after I added the sensor and a good 15 minutes went by, it started reporting open and closed states much more reliably. And this reminds me of other cloud-based things that we do in alarm.com. When you go to add them, you do need to give it about 5-10 minutes sometimes for everything to synchronize in the cloud and magic to start happening. So I don't think it was a big issue, but just something worth noting. If you're putting this together and immediately things aren't working, just give it a few minutes. I think it would be fine. As far as the 15-minute setup, for me, with all the issues I ran into and trying to do the video recording, it took me an hour and 8 minutes to actually get it out of the box and into production. But admittedly, I was doing an awful lot there in the middle, and even taking time to do things like mount the motion sensor with a screw rather than double-sided tape. So there were things that I was doing that probably took a lot longer than the average install should have. Things are great so far, but I think we have a lot more to do. And it makes me think about what should we talk about in upcoming videos. This is the list of things I can think of right now that I really would like to do with the system and report back to everyone on how it's functioning. If there are more things that you'd like to see, please add it in the comments, and I'd be happy to consider adding that test in. And of course, if I've done something on this video that just seems kind of silly, let me know that too in the comments, and I can address it in a future video. The highlights here would be coverage testing with just the base install. So we've got just a couple of little devices deployed right now. I really want to go to every nook and cranny on the first floor of my house and see, what is the scope of the Wi-Fi motion sensing right now, and when do I really need to add additional sense plugs. And if I don't need any more on the first floor, maybe I could add sense plugs to my second floor and sense motion up there as well. I also just want to compare some of the features of the nami system to something like an IQ system. Now, certainly there's not going to be feature parity everywhere, but it'll be interesting to see where can you tweak configurations like away and stay, and which sensor is involved in which mode, and things of that nature. And of course, we bought the higher end package on purpose because we're going to add a camera or two, and we're going to start to look at some automations with the sense plugs, and really just see what this can do, given its price point and its very unique technology. So I thank you all for bearing with me on this very long video. I hope this was informative and helpful. If it was, please click the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and tell your friends, other DIYers, other folks that are into home automation and home security to join Save the Panel and let me know what they want to see. And I'm more than happy to take suggestions for future videos. Until next time, I'll see you online.